Good morning, everybody. Remy and I are at the junction between the West Willow Creek trailhead, or the San Luis Pass trailhead, and the Colorado Trail. So we just took a 0 day in Creede, so it's our first day back on trail. Remy definitely needed it from a rest and pause standpoint. So today we are going to be doing segment 21, which is approximately 14.7 miles and 3,116 feet of elevation, with about 1,000 feet coming in this first mile. So we are going to start this with a pretty big climb, and then we'll have another baby climb right after, at about 700 feet, and only hiking in about 4 miles today just to get our trail legs back and make sure Remy has enough rest time. We'll be camping down in the Mineral Creek Basin area. I was also trying to time it because there's supposed to be a wave of storms and rain rolling in, particularly in the afternoon, 30% chance each day. So we're gonna try to get mileage in the morning. And you can see behind me, the storm that's north, it's coming from the south-southwest. So looks like, based on the skies back here, we should be clear to get over this ridge and down into the Mineral Creek Basin area with enough time to set up camp before an afternoon storm rolls in. But the rest of the segment goes through Snow Mesa, and we definitely don't want to be exposed, so we're gonna camp and then hit up Snow Mesa super early in the morning to try to finish out the segment and hike a couple of miles into segment 22 tomorrow. But anyways, the weather is supposed to be a high of 63, again storms in the afternoon. Here we go.
Hey now, take a step outside and seize the day now. Set aside your worries, it's okay now. The sun is here to stay. Blue skies, feel the wind beneath you as you fly.
So it looks like you can see the trail posts making our way up through this line here. Not really any switchback, so straight up. And we're only at 12.2. We're going to 12.9, so I don't think that is going to be our peak. But we're going to continue to climb.
Everything you want right here, and oh yeah, the music's never been so clear. It goes oh, oh, na 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 na. Oh, oh, na 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 na. And oh yeah, everything I need's right here, and oh yeah, all my worries disappear. And
Okay, so we've reached the top of the saddle at 12,894 feet. It looks like a storm is starting to roll in, so we are going to make our way as quickly as possible, hopefully down to tree line, and then look to see what the weather or the clouds are looking like before we climb the next little peak. So anyways, continuing on.
it goes
And unfortunately, tree line is not very pretty. Lots of beetle kill in this area.
na 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 na.
So Remy was just barking at something for the first time on trail up here. Glad he saw it. He saw something moving through the bushes and some snorting. I think it might be a moose. Hoping it moved on. I don't know if it's a bear. There's lots of berries around here too. Hey bear! Hey bear! Hey animal! So that got my adrenaline going a little bit. Usually Remy ignores animals, especially if they're at a distance, but he was definitely barking something in the bushes. I saw it run or something moving, run uphill, and that's kind of where the trail goes. So being very careful and watching out. I think it was a moose though, because of the snort sound. I know this heavy moose area, so we're keeping an eye out and making sure we keep our distance, and looking out for the trees that we could hide behind if a moose starts to charge us. But we're almost to the campsite. We've got about 1.2 miles till we hit the Mineral Creek Basin area, and within that next mile it's all water and campsite. So just gonna try to find a good spot and relax for the day. I can tell Remy's definitely still a little bit sore and getting into it, so it's good that we're gonna take some, half a day off from hiking. But anyways, hiking on. Okay, so we just gained our second climb for today at 12,168 feet. It's kind of like there's clouds and there's rain, but we only have about a mile till we descend for about a mile into where we're gonna be camping tonight. So hiking on. So I was thinking at first that it felt kind of weird to be done hiking around noon, but I was able to set up my tent, eat some lunch, refill water, and as you can hear, it's starting to rain. So I think we made the right call of just sitting this afternoon out, letting Rem cover a little bit more, and then hitting up Snow Mesa in that largely exposed area first thing in the morning. So we're just gonna hang out, read, and take a nap, and we'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. We are just about to get our hike started. It did rain pretty much off and on all evening, and then woke up about 10:30 last night to a pretty scary thunderstorm, thunder, lightning, high winds that was just echoing throughout this basin. But it's not supposed to really rain this morning. Storm's coming in this afternoon, so we're gonna try to get as much mileage in as possible. We've got about 10.7 miles until the end of the segment, a pretty big climb this morning in the first 3 miles before we descend onto Snow Mesa, which is gonna be beautiful but heavily exposed for about 5 miles before we get to the Spring Creek trailhead. But anyways, the high is supposed to be about 63. It's a little breezy and windy, so definitely keeping my shell on till we get to the top, or until it gets like too hot, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be windy at the top. Yeah, Remy seems to be doing a lot better. Got a full night's sleep, slept through that storm, and we are just gonna get our hike started. So anyways, here we go. So, looks like we're gonna be crossing through here and going over the saddle next. All right, so we've gained our second saddle for this morning at 12,248 feet. We are going to be climbing behind me that second saddle, and I believe that should be our high point at 12,700, but we might have a little bit further to go. But looks like the grading is pretty level. We've only got about 500 more feet of elevation to gain before we start descending again. Anyway, it's definitely super windy, so we're gonna hike on. So that saddle behind me was not our high point, but the climb was actually pretty good, not too strenuous. And I'm gonna flip the camera on and show you where we're going because I can see the trail now and some post markers. So basically we'll go through these willows and we're gonna climb this way and across here, and you can kind of see 2 hikers up there. They just actually crested the saddle, so. But that should be our high point, and that's where we're going. So a little bit of a straight up C, and then across, and then back down, and I think we can see Snow Mesa from that, so I'm excited to get up there and get some footage. So we've reached our peak elevation for today and for the segment at 12,787 feet. I'm gonna flip the camera around so you can see the view. We've got a couple of peaks to show you. So actually way off in the distance, probably have to do later, that's Uncompahgre Peak, which is a 14er, sits at about 14,200 feet. And that one's very distinguishable because the peak looks like a witch's cap. And then you've got Balde Cinco, which sits at about 13,300. And then down here, this is the expanse of Snow Mesa. So you can see the trail go straight across here. And we're gonna do that 5 miles straight on till Spring Creek Pass. We've got some good chalk formations here. And then San Juan Mountains off in the distance that way. Okay, so we are about 9.8 miles into the segment. We stopped at Willow Creek to have a little water break. We actually didn't need to refill our water bladder. Didn't drink that much this morning, but water, snack break, and air out our tent a little bit. I have, as you can tell, I'm huffing a little bit. I have Remy's pack now. I thought it was a paw issue, but it's not a paw pad issue. I think it's in between. He seems to be doing fine when it's just dirt or grass, but when he's coming on rocks, he gets a little hesitant and just limps a little bit. So took his pack, can't talk like right now, took his pack just to take some weight off of him for a little bit. We got about 3 more miles of Snow Mesa, which is basically this open mesa at a higher elevation, and the sun's not too hot yet and still a little bit cold. I see some darker clouds forming. They look a little bit isolated, so nothing moving yet, but we definitely want to get to tree line before anything comes. But anyways, hiking on. So when you come over sort of this last ridge line, you're gonna see a set of mountain ranges, and it's all mining areas for mountains. So that's Red Mountain way over there. And then kind of dropping down, it's $1 million highway. And so Telluride is just beyond that sort of taller mountain over there. And then if you drive through, it's a very beautiful drive down through Ouray and Silverton. This is the edge of Snow Mesa into the abyss. We've got about 1,300 feet of elevation loss over 2 miles, so will definitely be a knee breaker, but here we go. All right, we're just approaching the Spring Creek Pass trailhead, and that's another 14.7 miles of over 500 miles of fun in 2021.